I'm going to take you up close and personal through the eyes of a firefighter what it's like to fight a raging wildfire. So stay tuned. Hello folks, welcome to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'll be your host today, Jeremy Hanson. Today I'm going to take you along to see what it's like through the eyes of a firefighter when he's up against a raging wildfire. I am currently employed as a wildland firefighter. My fire crew is deployed to the Milepost 97 fire. I've been doing firefighting off and on since I was 18, starting out with structural firefighting with a local fire district, and I went into wildland firefighting in 2013. Through some video and photos, I was able to capture the fire. I'll be able to show you just what we wildland firefighters face on a fire. By the time we had got on scene, the fire, which started as an illegal campfire, had grown to just about 80 acres. When we started our direct attack, we went into this draw. This had steep hills on each side, which were rocky. It had a lot of snags, a lot of rolling debris. So when we went in there, we started a line right up against the flame front, and we really had to watch out because there were debris that could potentially roll on us. As we got deeper into the draw, we were notified the fire had actually thrown down rolling debris, slopped over our line, and trapped us in. So we had to actually go down and cross the other side of the draw and make our way out. After we got our accountability, made sure everybody made it out, we went back in on the same side we came out, but instead of going into the draw, we noticed the fire was creeping up the hill. So we got the sawyers in front, and we started taking out the brush.
Yeah, I don't want you dropping all this. We're getting this limb, if you can reach it, this limb, and we'll just keep pulling this down. Watch out, we're putting that next to heat. Okay? Yeah, I'm going to move it. Where should I move it to? It's over there.
I actually was carrying the Domar, which is the chainsaw gas, and the oil.
Present, I honestly spot.
I don't know, are you?
I'm looking. I think I am.
By day 3, they had broken my crew up into squads, into 4 different squads, and my squad went down towards a creek. The fire was coming down and down to the creek, which is a natural fire break. We got the line down to the creek and noticed the fire was right up next to the dam. The helicopter was actually able to go to the dam, drop his bucket into the water, and just come right over and dump it on the fire. But the problem was the underwash from the rotors of the helicopter was spreading the fire, and we had to sit there and make sure it didn't cross the creek, because right across this creek was a steep hill that if the fire had made it to the other side, it would have made a run up the hill and put our other firefighters at risk, which were fighting on another front. We had sat there for several hours just watching the fire, making sure it didn't come across the creek, but there was a lot of brush and we didn't have a great vantage point, so I went up over this rock and sat there for a bit. I look over to my right and notice a log that goes from one side of the creek to the other. I notice flames were dropping from that. Apparently the fire had caught on the log, and the moss that had grown on the log, it had crept across. It was creeping across. It had already gotten about halfway, so I yelled out to my squad boss and the other guys, like, "Hey, come over here. The fire's creeping its way to this side." So we all got down there into the creek, and we couldn't really cut it up or anything. So, and it was really tall. So we just like took our helmets off, put some water from the creek, and threw it up there. We started out in green, brushy feel. It was slow to burn, which I felt comfortable with. We were digging line. We had just come up over a finger of the fire, which it had made a run up the hill. We were trying to stop it before it spread anymore. After we had secured our lines, we went back down the line we had just made to where the light fuels were. We started to progress our line to where the lighter fuels were, but we noticed that it was blowing over the line, causing other spot fires. We couldn't just sit there and babysit it because there was just too many embers to light over, so we actually had to call in air support. So as we were holding the line, we were watching the helicopters come over, do bucket drops. And this one particular one, he came on, I watched the bucket drop down. It's just this wall of water come right at me, and I ducked, but luckily no water hit me.
Oh yeah.
Eventually, we backed out to our contingency line. While we were up there staging, we had found that the fire had jumped our front line and started going up the trees. Once it got up to the trees, it started doing a crown run, which is when it gets up into the tops of the trees, it starts bouncing from tree to tree to tree and making its way up, and it made its way up the hill.
If it gets into the treetops, it's crossing this line.
Yeah.
Give the son to retire and just open up that ice. Oh, the peanut portion will take care of itself. I like this diversify.
Okay, back there.
It's breathing.
Uh-oh, the wind's blowing it right into it.
Wind's pulling back in.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, the fire's breathing that in. Oh boy. The wind is caused by the fire.
That's the crown run we just came out of.
We could hear the raging inferno below us as it torched the trees below us. It was in the treetops, and it was coming right up at us, and if it had got up to us, it would have it became really hot, and then we'd have to stop and make sure it didn't blow across our contingency line. See, we didn't have any lines beyond where we were at. If we didn't hold where the line we were on, it would have spread and just blew up even more.
Copy that. I got everybody walking.
Luckily, the crowning run actually didn't culminate in anything. There were no spot fires. It went out overnight, and we were able to continue into the mop-up stage the next day. We did mop up for about 3 more days. We spent a total of 14 days on this fire, which is 14 days equals a tour. After our tour, everybody gets to go home for 2 days R&R. Well, that's what I come home, and I'm on my R&R right now. But tomorrow, I could be called out again. We just got notified, or we've been notified that we have severe lightning storms coming in the area, and my crew boss has notified me that we could be going right back out right after the 48 hours. Each fire crew consists of 20 people, and in our fire crew we actually have 2 young ladies. Those 2 young ladies are actually 2 of our sawyers. I want to thank you for joining me on my epic adventure. And now you have a first-hand glimpse of what we wildland firefighters face when we go on the fire front. I am your host, Jeremy Hanson. I would like to thank you for joining us at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. Stay tuned for more videos by subscribing or clicking on the bell icon. Leave a comment, give us a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. By clicking that share button and sharing our channel on your social media platforms, that really helps out the channel and helps us to bring you more content. And you can find us on Facebook under Jerry Hanson, Pinterest, Reddit, Blogger, Parlay, LinkedIn, and Tumblr. Thank you, and we'll see you in more videos. Bye-bye.